You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam, and I am your host. And today's episode will be brought to you after these questions from our characters.
So, as Roy was clearing some of the vines and happily being distracted by his work, because it wasn't much worse than cleaning Bar's room.
Pretty much the same.
You know, he turns to Kay and is like, "So, the Empire, huh? That sounds fascisty. What was it like?"
So, the Separatist Army. That sounds kind of fascisty. What was it like?
Oh yeah, but I was built and designed to be in it, and then I was, what's the word? Modified and repurposed. But you have, like, a soul and choices.
Well, you have a soul and choices. And I was also built to be designed to work for the Empire. But I have a soul and choices, and I'm not there anymore. But yes, it was very fascisty. It wasn't the best. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, you're not human, so they won't let you in, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I mean, have you got your friends there? Anybody miss you? Do you miss somebody? Why'd you leave? Is that your snazzy outfit?
Why did I leave? No, this isn't. It just looks fairly much like the helmet is. Why did I leave? Because the Empire was wiping out anything that was different. The Empire was wiping out anything that had any form of pushback, any form of variance against their perfectly clinical, ideal system. And I was used to do that, and I didn't want to. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you ran away because you didn't like it?
Yes, that's the easiest way of putting it. I ran away because I didn't like it. But I don't think anybody would have liked it. Well, obviously there are people out there who would like it, but anybody who works for them is culpable. Everybody who works for them knows what they're doing. It's not a surprise to what they're doing. They're doing evil. It's not a point in my life I really want to go back to.
So, you gonna do anything to fix it? Or are you just gonna stay hanging out with us and do better things?
And there is absolutely no judgment in there. You can sort of tell. It's just like, what's your plan?
I don't think I can fix the entire Empire. I'm going to try and fix what I did. But you'd need something a lot bigger than me to fix what's going on there.
Roy points at the space whale that they're currently inside.
Bigger than him as well.
Wow.
Millions of planets, billions of people, all following and beating to the same drum. Squashing every single piece of individuality that the galaxy has. Crushing, wiping out, killing. A big fish isn't going to stop that. I don't have xenobiology. I mean, we could stay here with you. We seem to meet nice people. And then at that point, I think Roy goes, whoop.
Please don't consider me rude for exiting this conversation. I really didn't have much choice in the matter.
I quite like the idea that while you do that, Kay, being that he's having a really heartfelt conversation, just looks down for a second and then looks back up and you're gone. You've done a complete Batman on him and it's just off.
Many have often misquoted the Old Republic era Archaeo's xenobiologist Via Tia Mal Campo, who said that life finds a way and that there is always a bigger fish, which is ironic because despite their work on claiming that no matter what happens in a Xeno species, it will find a way to survive regardless of condition, the good doctor was in fact killed in a planet that had been thought entirely uninhabited, devoured by many, many tiny fish. And on that cheery note, hello everyone. We should really get into it. My name's Ed Fortune. Would anyone like to start introductions?
You know, I could just do the introductions for everybody.
Yes!
Hi, I'm Bar. I'm kind of developing my own sense of self, and I like shooting things with big guns, but I'm pretty good at learning about ethics.
Hi, I'm Roy. I have no morality and I'm just here along for the ride.
Hi, I'm Kay. I have a deep and dark backstory, and I'm trying to get this job done because I'm quite serious. Hi, I'm the Doctor. I'm incredibly smart, and I look at really tiny details that don't matter, but here we are.
The last time we saw the party, they were exploring a unit that had been attached, basically a cosmic barnacle that had been attached to a giant space leviathan, and had promised the being that they would clean its barnacle so they could basically exploit the treasures within.
You make us sound so cynical.
I mean, right.
Yeah, we were asked nicely.
I mean, you were asked nicely. That's also the thing. But where we left off, the party had literally discovered that life did indeed endure within this structure, and unfortunately, Roy is in the process of being dragged away by giant monstrous vines. Now, just to quickly describe the scene, you are in a relatively broad cross-junction, T-junction. Roy is being dragged away to the right. There is a left that you have left unexplored at this point. There are quite a few dead vines, and they're like fungusy, purpley. They sparkle slightly when you pick them up on the ground. The thing that has grabbed Roy is greenish dark purple, and it has got very much a kind of like massive beak thing going on. There's kind of like translucent kind of boils of like boiling kind of viscous kind of greenish chemical, and the thing itself also has its own bioluminescence. And I think at this point, we should roll initiatives. Was anyone prepared for this to kick off?
Well, I think the people who succeeded in the vigilance roll were.
Well, that, and there was a shout of "look out," which all gave us all bonuses on our vigilance checks.
Yeah, pick one of the two possible initiative options. I would say is whatever's best for you, because you've been given ample warning and are ready to go. So whatever works for your character, I think, is a fair ruling in this particular case.
I have 2 success, 2 advantage, and a triumph.
Nice.
2 success, 1 advantage.
4 success, 3 advantage.
2 success, 2 advantage.
So the initiative order is 2 player characters, 1 villain slot, 2 player characters, 2 villain slots. Just for those who are playing along at home. Because I rolled 3 successes, 1 success, and 1 success out of a dice pool that was much more exciting than that. Oh well. So just to describe the scene again, there is plenty of light. The thing itself glows. It is a horror movie nightmare made out of massive vines and big beaky bitey things. That's the best way to describe it. The Henson Company has gone nuts on this puppet. It looks great.
So we can, because obviously there are 3 antagonists around, but we can only see one at the moment. Is that right? The big plant.
So it's essentially one big thing with things that are operating as part of it independently.
Ah, okay, cool. Like 3 heads of a hydra kind of thing.
3 heads of a hydra is the best way to describe it. In terms of combat, you are fighting 3 separate things, which are representing a swarm of horrible things attacking you. But I'm not using the kind of the minion style rules, because that won't work for this.
Okay,
that is cool. Just so I'm clear on what I can target. Who wants to go first?
Can I go first? I don't usually.
Yep.
Okay. So Roy is talking to Kay and then zips off into the mouth of a big Audrey 2 style thing. So Kay shakes his head for a second, reaches down to his gun, and it's out as an incidental, because I have quick draw, aims and shoots at the head of it to try and dislodge Roy. What I'm doing is hoping for some advantages. How far away is it from us?
Roy's been dragged about in the course of this one kind of short round before it all kicked off. It's only been dragged about 3 meters.
All right. So short range then?
So short range is fine. The growing realization is that it's all around you.
Okay.
Also, yeah, even though you're wearing masks and environmental suits, like, you can feel something get like clogging the filters. If you see what I mean, there's like there's a whining sound as your filters kick in.
Gotcha. So I'm aiming, and I just do not roll anything on yellows. Just doesn't happen.
No.
Yeah. So that is 2 successes and 1 advantage. So that's not enough advantages, I don't think, to do anything interesting. So I'll pass on to the next person. So that is... Oh, it's a superior. What does superior give me again?
It's +1 damage baked in and an advantage.
All right. Well, then with that superior, I will crit.
Cool.
So that is 9 damage straight off and a crit. I give it a good old stinger and increase the difficulty of the next check it makes by 1.
It smashes into it, and it does kind of like it emits a kind of horrible, chilling scream as you think you've hit something vital. But what you've actually hit is, like, you notice it's got, within the vines, it's got eyes, and you shoot it in one of its eyes. They're like slitted kind of organic orbs.
Okay.
And the next player slot, please.
I'm going to take this if that's okay.
I was going to suggest you do anyway.
Because Tychus has had Clementine out anyway, draws a bead, so using 2 manoeuvres to aim, and shouts, "Give me my brother back, you wee bastard fungus!" And I'm going to unload a pulse from Clementine's new and improved supercharged barrels. 3 success and 3 advantage, Ed. So the creature itself, the main part of it, takes 13 damage pierce 1, so 1 point of its soak doesn't count. And then the other 2 parts of it and Roy all take 9 damage, but soak does apply to that. But Roy, you've got a soak of 7, so you only end up taking 2 from that.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I quickly checked your soak just to make sure. As this huge, supercharged, like arm-wide bolt of energy unleashes from the end of Clementine, smashes into this plant, and then explodes outwards in a burst of plasma fire.
So what you notice is that where your bolts of energy hit the bits that glow, those are the bits that cause it to kind of react and yell out and move. The energy seems to sink into the darkness quite a bit, and there's kind of like wet thumps that, like, those bits, they don't really seem to care how hard you try and cook them, but the kind of like the bits that glow, the bits that look like eyes, the bits that look like teeth, the kind of things that are casting shadows, they do not like the heat that you bring.
NPC turn.
Tychus, lots and lots of tiny kind of little tendrils, sharp kind of ropey, thick vines leap towards you as you have quite clearly caused it a lot of pain. They also rush past the rest of the party as well. Narratively, what happens is that you all get some sharp vines rushing past you. But the only character that has to worry about it is Tychus, because that's the one it really, really wants to eat today.
I've got a ranged defense of 1, so that adds a setback dice to it.
So, as the vines rip into you, they also attack Kay, because it can spend some of its advantage on attacking an additional person.
Okay.
So it just barely hits you, but it does hit you, unfortunately so. And it does also hit Kay.
Okay.
For 9 damage each.
Okay. Hefty.
That is it, hefty. That's PS1 as well, I'm afraid.
Okay, thank you.
So essentially what happens is it leaps out with all these kind of like tiny phony whips, and as it hits Tychus, there's a kind of burst as one of the kind of whips around the key as well. And though they don't entangle you, they do kind of get into bits of your suit and kind of cause a kind of blending, kind of violent attack.
Okay.
Player characters. So Ross or Mim.
Right, so I would like to... I'm assuming this is a different creature to the archaeofungus or anything like that. So if I can spot, if I can xenology roll it or something, to see if there's any obvious weaknesses or anything that I would notice, is one of my things I would like to do.
So as a movement action, you'd like to figure out what this thing is?
Well, we're surrounded by it, so I'm not really going to be doing a lot of movement action, and I'm not going to be shooting at it. Or for the action part of it, I'd like to do a force heal on Kay and Tychus.
Okay. So xenobiology roll, yes please. Your difficulty is 2.
Can I make use of TBC as well to scout what's around us? I mean, with a quick shouted instruction of some description saying, what is it? But
So you're asking TBC to shine a light on
anything in its... I don't know how big a database it's got, given Tychus will have provided it. I don't know where it will have sourced anything, but anything it might have processed from, because it will have sourced, scanned through any of the books I was downloading or retrieving from the library as well at various points over the last few days.
It's a medical assistance droid as well. So what I'm going to say is, out of TBC's little dendrite things, it does a sniff.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, plus it's also been, it got a boost from the portal thing, so I've got a few bonus dice from that, I think, with TBC.
Yeah, you still haven't spent those, have you?
No, I've not spent... so, I mean, all of it is just bonuses for interacting with the dock, because it's got lots of experience working with versions of the dock.
You've still got your shattered visions, haven't you? Okay, you can spend one of those as well.
I'll just use one of those, because I don't want to overkill on this one thing.
Okay.
5 success and an advantage.
Okay, so TBC burbles at you, and you very rapidly put the figures together. This creature is essentially like a kind of a sentient ripping moss parasite. Imagine like an intelligent kind of lizard vine is the best way to describe it. It's not quite a plant, it's not quite a dinosaur, it's somewhere between the two. It's this kind of weird kind of living, related to the sarlacc. It's the same sort of family as the sarlacc, in the sense that it's small, it starts in tiny spores, and then those spores eat each other until you have one big kind of sentient entity that then eats things over a long period of time. So it's probably slowly eating the ship, which implies there's probably strong organic matter within inside this structure, which is possibly why it thrived. And you're fairly confident that lots and lots of heat in concentrated areas, any part of it that reflects the light,
okay,
or any part of it that takes light in, will be very, very sensitive to energy weapons, if you see what I mean. Also, 5 successes. This thing will not burn easily.
Right, okay. Is there any obvious visual thing of, that can... If I want to shout to Roy, aim for the green bit, like that's a photosynthesis area, would that be a...
Go for the eyes is a very obvious is a very simple way. Like, you could, if you said go for the eyes, the rest of the party would know what you mean, because it's the weird flashy bits. It's that old R-type video game rules of, if you shoot it and it flashes, keep shooting those bits.
Okay, I mean, that's what I'm going to be shouting. Everybody, aim for the eyes.
Let's say that everyone gets a single floating blue on their attack. I think that's fair. Maybe a little overpowered, but I don't care. I think it works.
Right, I would like to try and force heal the other two who've taken damage so far.
Remember that you're in a light side vergence, and you can call upon that to get an additional light side point.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 1 light side and 1 dark side.
Are you counting in the +1 light side that you gain from?
I've got a bonus point, but I can spend 1 point to heal a number of wounds equal to intellect from an engaged living creature. I would need to spend an additional 2 to affect an additional target. So I've got 1 wasted light side point, basically.
Or you could use the dark side point to heal both of us.
Or I could use the dark side point to heal both of you. Yeah. The control strain thing, it says if no dark side point generated 4 points, then target heals strain as well. So one of you can regain 4 strain as well as 4. Given that Tychus is the one with the big gun, I think I'm going to pick Tychus, even though Kay's the one with probably the most strain at this point.
I haven't got any strain.
What's your soak, Mikey?
3.
Heal Mikey. My soak is 6.
Okay, he looks most in danger. I'll heal Mikey then. So that's 4 wounds and 4 strain recovered. And other than that, the dock is just trying to avoid being sniped at by little branches and things.
Yeah, but there's lots and lots of tiny little kind of snappy things coming out of this thing. And it's 1 hero slot left.
Roy, over to you.
Right. So I'm wrapped up in the vines rather than actually being swallowed by anything.
It's got a beak on you, if you see what I mean. So there's vines, and it's got a beak on you, and it's currently trying to eat you.
It is trying to eat me, right. Well, I suppose the best thing I can do is probably try and break... I imagine are my arms free, or are they restrained? Is it just around my legs?
So you're engaged with the creature, is the short version. It's dragged you into its range, which is engagement, and it's kind of got you held by its beak, so you can act, if you see what I mean.
Okay, well, in that case, the best and easiest thing is to probably just shoot it. And because I've got a mop and a bucket, I'm gonna have to drop those and use my left arm. I got a boost because there was a boost sent out. Bar, you gave me a boost separately, just as me. So that's 2 boosts. And I'm rolling 3 yellow dice.
Your difficulty, because you're engaged with it and using a big weapon, is, I want to say, 2 or 3 purple, because it's quite tough when you're this close and your weapon is so big. Yeah, it's 3 purple because your guns are so big.
That's fine. I'm more using it for the fun of using it.
Bad plan. Don't eat people.
Wow. This is the first time I think I've done something and I've done it well. So that's 2 success, 2 advantage, and 1 triumph additionally.
Ooh, nice. What are you using? What does that look like? What's the damage?
So, having dropped the mop and the bucket, he raises his left arm, and it's sort of, the hand kind of folds down, some bits go up and down, and a cannon comes out. He just kind of yells at the plant and goes, "No fighting," and this ball of energy just shoots out of the end of it. This big explosion just fries the plant.
How much damage have you dealt? And have you critted with the triumph?
Does 9 damage. I don't actually. There is no special stuff next to it.
It's 9 damage plus the number of successes.
Oh yeah, so 3 altogether. So 9, 10, 11, 12.
That's possibly sufficient.
You smash a massive hole into the middle, and essentially, as you raise the weapon and like the ball of energy, the beak lets go of you, of your midriff, and kind of rears back in a kind of almost bird-like squawk. It's got like dripping purple ichor coming from it as it does so, and then it just blossoms, and you rip a hole, so much so that you can see all the way down the corridor. And because this is Roy, and because this is a triumph, you're reasonably confident that you can see right at the end of the corridor what you're pretty sure is a vending machine.
Oh, cool.
You found the cafeteria.
But there was a screeching, susurrus is the best way to describe it, like kind of like lots and lots of tiny screams rather than like one kind of horrible screech. Discordant chorus of pain from the creature.
Is it now a case that I can kind of stand up and dust myself down, or are we still being dragged places and things happening?
There's still creatures here. There's still stuff is still active, but you've essentially knocked one of this organism's, like the middle of this organism has been knocked out.
Okay.
What do you want to do with your triumph, Mim? Because there's no point critting because the middle section, which is what you shot, was dead. So maybe use your maneuver to get back out of grasping range to short range out of engaged, and maybe your triumph to upgrade the difficulty of the next one of its segments to go because of the psychic feedback going out from its core center part being damaged.
What I was going to suggest with the triumph is that you can see, like as you see through the vending machine, you can kind of see where like the root of this creature is, if you see what I mean. You can see like kind of like these nexus points which would give advantage to the rest of the party.
So the nexus point is the vending machine. This has grown out of a Kit Kat gone wrong.
I knew those vegan snack machines were a bad idea.
You can see the base of the creature. You can kind of see where it's kind of rooted itself in. Now that there's less noise going on, you can better maneuver.
That's sensible, it is. But I might go with Adam's idea and let smart people work it out for themselves. Because even if that is something that Roy notices, that there's some other bits of plant down there that might be rooty, I don't think he's the kind of person that would put everything together and be like, that's the main root. He was just ripping random bits of plant down. So, you know, there's a really smart doctor and Kay who pays a lot of attention to things. I'm going to let them do the smart stuff and try and work stuff like that out and just be like, hey, I've messed it up right and proper, so it's going to have disadvantage against us.
Cool.
if there had been other doors down the corridor, I was totally going for the comedy thing of not only have I shot a hole through this plant thing, but there are about 3 or 4 blast doors with perfect, slowly getting smaller holes all the way down the corridor.
So, villain action. Again, there's like this angry sorcerer gets worse. And Doc,
Yep.
lots and lots of lines whiz past you, embed itself into a chunk behind you, and pull out a piece of scenery from behind you, and drag it away. I rolled nothing.
Alright, so something missed me with a harpoon, with a viney harpoon. Okay.
Yes. So it successfully hits Roy, and again, as it hits Roy, the vines burst out and hit Tychus. And again, that's for 9 points of damage each.
Any pierce on that?
PS1. So as vines burst again from the wall and bounce off Roy and also hit Tychus. And again, these are like sticky, kind of penetrating nastiness. That's a third villain action. So back to the next hero slot.
So back to the top, we got for all of us to go.
Can I go?
Yep.
Okay, as an incidental, I zip my lightsaber out in my other hand, and I am going to have a go with the lightsaber at the closest attacking vine.
What mode are you using?
Evil, super evil, or mega evil?
Number 2, not super evil, just the middle round.
Just as you ignite this lightsaber, you know how it's basically like carved darkness?
Yep.
The contrast is huge. Your lightsaber blade is normally quite heavy, if you see what I mean, and the more you lean into it, the less heavy it feels for you. Ooh, it's heavy. It's very heavy here. There's an adjust for the atmosphere. It's not enough to give you a setback die.
Okay.
But it's like, it is noticeable that there is a dip here. You cannot take advantage of the virgins for use of this lightsaber.
Fair enough. I don't roll anything with it, so I'm just going to hit one of the tentacles. So that is failure, but 5 advantage.
How would you like to spend that advantage?
You get a boost, you get a boost, everybody gets a boost.
I'm going to say that you're able to plunge it into, but you can't seem to plunge it into anywhere that matters.
Okay.
If you see what I mean. It's like you've hit the tree, as it were, but the bits that are moving aren't doing anything, and you feel like whatever you've put this into is already dead. This is just like structural for it, if you see what I mean.
We'll use all 5 to give people boosts.
Okay.
As bouncing boost for the next person to go, or are you going to kind of go 1 for me, 1 for Roy, 1 for the next player?
So 1 to you for the next person, because I imagine you're going to go next, and then 2 to the other 2.
Ed, I draw a bead on the cluster of vines that has been, tearing chunks out of me. Especially now Roy is free. I'm using 2 manoeuvres to aim. That is 1 success, 4 advantage, and a triumph.
Yes!
So 1 success, 4 advantage, and a triumph. What would you like the triumph to do?
Are the 2 parts of this creature close enough that a blast would get them both?
Yes. Also, because of the hole that Roy conveniently punched into it, you can now kind of like see where bits are connected.
Okay, so 1 success, first of all, will do to the creature 12 damage, pierce 1.
Right.
I'm going to use 2 of those advantage to trigger blast, which will do the other part of it 7 damage.
Okay.
I'm going to use my triumph to crit, assuming it's still up and active.
It is still up and active, just, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is knocked prone and suffers 1 strain. It has been effectively bowled over from the blast, which I kind of assume what that actually is it's scattering the cohesion of the central cluster.
Oh, it's pulling back. There is a hit. That susurrus again, those tiny screams, is now kind of like a hissing as like it pulls back and you can see more of the corridor and more of the room. Things fall out as well. We'll get to that in a moment.
And the last 2 advantage I've got left, I'm going to give it a setback on its next attack. Clementine now hums and charges up before it fires. It's no longer kind of a staccato burst. It's a proper boom, boom sound. And yeah, this huge arm-wide blast of energy hits the centre mass of the tentacles that have been tearing chunks out of Tychus sends it scattering and diffuse.
This is basically R-Type, but in a corridor. I'm sorry, but you've got charging up balls of energy, lots and lots of tendrils, dodging out of the way of stuff. You're all tiny spaceships in this particular fight. And it's, again, another hero turn.
Roy, zot it.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep going boom, boom, boom.
I do have a thought, though, Mim. Here is this. So, Ed, you know this cluster at the end of the corridor?
Yep.
Is that targetable?
Yep.
The reason why I'm thinking that, Mim, is you've got 4 ranks of barrage, which means if you shoot a thing at long or extreme range, and I'm imagining that the far end of this corridor might be long range,
Yep.
you do an extra 4 points of damage if you hit. And your left arm is designed to take... It's a sniper rifle, so it's designed to blow holes in things at a long range. So if that's a central nerve cluster...
Yeah, all right. That's not bad.
Yeah, manoeuvre to aim, and then just blow a hole through that. So it'd be 3 purple because it's long range. You've got 2 boost from aiming and from K. Flip a light side point to upgrade your dice pool as well and blow a hole right through it, through its central nervous system.
I mean, not that I've got it, but you've also got a rolling boost from when it blew up the beak thing. Yeah, I forgot to use it, but I'm very much focused on using it now.
So you would like me to use that?
Yeah.
All right, because that would give me a grand total. If I pull a light side point, if you want this to be a big thing, that will give me a grand total of 3 yellow dice, 3 blue dice, 1 green dice against 3 purple.
Do it. Use a light side. I'm fine with that.
Okay, flip a light side for us, and let's see, with this large collection of dice.
Aim for the vending machine. Let's take this thing out.
I love the idea that the doctor was about to say something like aim for the nerve cluster, and then just was like, vending machine. Aim for the vending machine. It's like, do a shout.
Aim for the vending machine! Right between the Twixes.
Oh, nice one.
Betwixt, I believe it.
3 success and 4 advantage.
That's enough to crit as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, that will almost certainly do it, actually.
That's enough to double crit, no less.
I was really hoping for a couple of... not just one. I wanted a couple of triumphs there, just to make it a real Bobby Dazzler.
How many successes did you roll?
That was 3 successes.
Because that's 16 damage before soak and a double crit. Shazam!
It is a big badaboom.
So, how does it die, Roy? How does it die?
I don't know, because as far as Roy is concerned, he just saw an exploding vending machine and thought, my job is done.
So as like the barrage of bolts, as you focus in, you actually see this kind of central route kind of almost evilly open up, and you can see this kind of like this enormous purple eye-like protuberance, and it glows, and it looks sinister, and it shakes with ill intent as thousands of tiny filamental razor-sharp protuberances come out, and you can almost see them biting into things and moving across things. And Roy, with your enormous note cannon, just bolt after bolt after bolt, just dissecting, and it's like a perfect arc of fire, cleanly calculated to, you shave off the tendrils, you take out the eye, cut it in 2, you cut it down, and just bolt after bolt after bolt, burning it to root and stem, essentially, like some sort of incredibly violent gardener, ripping it apart, and everything collapses. All the vines, all the bits just fall apart, and you can see them start to spiral out of the corridor that you're in. And as you are surrounded by an autumnal burning ash, I think we'll leave it there for this session.
A couple of half-melted Twix bars and a fruit just kind of lands by us.
We will leave the mystery of the vending machine for the next session.
I love the idea that after that, Roy's just going to turn to Kay and be like, please continue. Because we were having a conversation before that happened.
Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Edge Studios. Our intro music is by the amazing Sly Fox Audio. Check out more of her work at soundcloud.com/SlyFoxAudio. Our outro music is Suburban Outlaw instrumental version by Forget the Whale, used with gratitude under a Creative Commons license. Many of the sound effects and soundscapes are created using Sirenscape, because epic games need epic sounds. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/forcemajeurepod, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to outtakes, adverts, various other stuff, and my fortnightly ramblings. You can drop us a coffee at ko-fi.com/forcemajeurepod, or you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to interact with us, there's a few ways you can do that. We are on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as @ForceMajeurePod, and we're over on Mastodon as @ForceMajeurePod at dice.camp. You can also join our Discord, link in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening and being with us as we tell these stories. We hope you are having fun, and we will see you next time.